Hey everyone. So I'm actually embarrassed to show you guys this. So right now I'm starting the project of making my projector base because my projector I want to sit at exact or close enough height and use its own adjustment. Because as you can see over here, I have my projector with its protective cloth over it. And then I have an older receiver, two of my old accounting books. I believe that's a law book and solutions guide for calculus. All that, and then a couple pieces of wood in there, getting it as close as possible to what I want. It's almost impossible for me to find something that's the right height. So what I'm trying to make, I've always liked woodworking, especially when I see like really beautiful woodwork. I really like that. So I'm trying to get into. I've done a lot of like working with tools and stuff, but never with like precision stuff with woodworking. So I'll show you guys what I'm working with right here. So I bought this, which I think is a really cool device. It is the Bladerunner by Rockwell. This is the second generation version. And let me open this up. So really, all this is that is a jigsaw blade in there. And that just goes down like that. So really, I'm using this to do a lot of precision cuts, as well as bigger cuts that you'd use almost like a table saw for. Because like these big pieces of wood here, these were in 12-foot sections, I believe, when I got them. This is actually my old projector screen. In the meantime, I found one on Craigslist for $75. I'll show you guys that real quick. And there it is. It's a 120-inch screen. My only complaint, really, I guess I can say, is that it's gray instead of white. So that means I get a darker picture. So in dark scenes, it looks really good. But in brighter scenes, I may have that backwards. But essentially, with a lighter screen, it makes everything brighter. But with a darker screen, it makes everything darker. So darker areas look a lot. It's hard to tell with that one. So the dark areas of it, they kind of look more washed out and you can't really see details. And then with the white screen, you can see more details in the dark areas. But then again, when you have a bright scene, the colors really pop with that screen. So there's a trade-off. However, with that projector, it's an LED projector, which means it's normally pretty dim. So I feel those are a bad match, but it seems to work just as well as I would like it to. I'm going to do some more calibration on it. I've done a little bit with it, but nothing major. Okay, back to the stand. So, now what I was ashamed to show you guys is basically I'm making joints. So just like this, you can kind of see how these work. And then these will press into that. You can see over here a little bit better. Get you guys a little closer. And you can see that those are meshed in fairly well. I think this is the tight one. Yeah, I can't even like undo that without pulling really hard. So that one I actually made pretty tight. They're pretty flush. You can notice that they're not perfect. Maybe within a couple thousandths of each other. Good enough for what I want to do. And then I'm probably going to sand it down once I get it exactly the way I want it. So I'm going to spend a lot of time. Like, yeah, this one is almost perfect actually. So that one I'm really proud of. However, with me working quickly and I'm not really set up to do this, so I don't have like my workbench is set up because I'm just working on this little setup here that folds out, and I put that on top, and I'm working out on my back porch so I don't make a big mess because I'm not used to working with a lot of sawdust and everything. So what I'm ashamed of is I did really, really well for the whole thing. Then the last two cuts, I'm guessing I did this. So if you're not familiar with jointing, you are supposed to use kind of like a standard dovetail and measure everything out in equal terms, but you can do pretty much whatever you want if you know what you want. So as you can see here, I have a thick portion, and a thinner portion. And essentially, that's actually just the thickness of the wood. So like here's a section I have cut off for something else, and that's what I just stacked them up, and that's what I made, and then the remainder I just left for the top piece. Now what I screwed up really bad was I was like, okay, the bottom on all the pieces will be this thick one, another thick one, and the thin one will be the one on top. However, on one side, I made the thin one on the top and the thick one on the bottom. So this piece I can't use besides making it into another small one. So great. So that's my first run through with the saw and screwing up from just trying to do too many things at once and not really having a plan on how to cut everything. But so what, I learned some. Here we go. Make sure you're cutting the right thing. Measure twice, cut once, measure 3 times, cut once. However many times you have to measure to cut just once and make it right. With this piece, also I was playing with there's a lot of staple marks in here, so I was trying to make that the inside of where the projector goes. I also made this big enough where I can fit a surge protector, the surge protector I have, which is a battery backup unit for like a PC. But yeah, this is basically my whole deal, and eventually this will be 4 high, nice and tall, and then I'll figure out what I want to do for the rack part of it. But so far, this tool I actually really like. There's a lot of things on it I don't really care for. Like there's this black ruler, which since the base is black and that's black, you really can't see it. I was just working out at night and I really couldn't see it even with my spotlights on. So I don't even use it. I was just going off of my eyeballs and what I was measuring off of one over the other. Because basically I was just taking one piece of the wood like this one, matching it up with the other one, and then just matching it up. So I made one originally based off of having all these lined up, and then once I cut that piece, I lined up the next piece of wood off of the other one. That way everything was as flush as possible, and just kept going around like that until I went too fast and screwed up that. But the tool's awesome. I'm not using the vacuum, so sometimes I get sawdust here. I'm not sure if that would solve the problem or not, because I'm not sure. I guess if I had a strong enough vacuum, it probably would. The vacuum I have around the house doesn't have a round attachment like this. It's not a shop vac. So there you kind of go. You just see it goes on like that. So I end up just blowing at that thing, but this thing doesn't put off a lot of vibration or anything. So I can pretty much get this right where I want it and cut through everything here. And they also made this real easy to change blades. They have this little push button here, pull out to the side, and just like that pops out. This one came with it. Still actually really warm, but I guess when I leave it in there. But the blade still looks good. But I really like this machine. I think it was like under $100, maybe a little over $100. So for it to take place of a table saw, I believe they call it a scroll saw, which would make even finer things than this. And there's another one, type of saw. I'm brand new to woodworking. Please let the criticism begin. Any advice I would love to take. But this is what I'm dealing with now. I'm going to keep going with this plan. And then the other thing I'm going to do is on the top of this, the only thing I could do to fasten something to this is either put a plank in here that screws into all of them, or what I'm going to try to do, but now that I see this I may not be able to, I was going to drill holes and put the wooden pegs in here and go from there with that. And look, I even tried. I wrote this as bottom, so actually that's that end I screwed up. So I almost tried, but I guess with me writing in pencil I can't see it. Oh well. On to the next piece of wood. Alrighty, well, thank you guys for watching, and if you guys have any comments, please leave them below, and I'll look up more videos of each day when I go through this, when I make a big progress, and we'll see you guys next time. Bye.